Okay, so we are going to get started. And first and foremost, I just want to welcome everyone who has tuned in tonight for our program tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to get healthcare recruiters and hiring managers to contact you. And in exchange, I'm also going to talk about the mentorship program that I have put together. And so, before I get into the conversation, we do have a few people on. So, just a few housekeeping rules. You don't have to turn on your cameras. We're recording just for training purposes on our end. We'll definitely post it on YouTube just for more people to find out about the training and the program details. And so, if you're uncomfortable turning on your camera, you don't have to. I'm not requiring anyone to turn on their camera. If you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat box. And my colleague Blondine, she is going to keep track of everyone's questions, and during the Q&A part of the conversation tonight, I'll start to answer people's questions. But thank you once again for tuning in. I definitely want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope by the end of the conversation, you have learned something new about the healthcare industry and how you can use the strategy that I will provide for you tonight as a tool to leverage your job hunting process if you are an active job seeker looking to acquire, particularly a non clinical job within the healthcare space. So, what are my goals for tonight? And the first one is really to teach you how to get healthcare hiring managers and recruiters to contact you. We know that this is a digital era, and the way that we approach job hunting looks slightly different post pandemic. And so, I know that many of you can attest that if you've been actively seeking for jobs, it looks a little different than pre COVID. And there's so many reasons for that. And I don't want you to feel like it's you. As 95% of the time, it's not you. It's the economy, it's the organization, it's hiring managers, and really just if that position is right for you. So I am a high and a strong believer in God and knowing that He will afford us opportunities as He sees fit for us. So I really want each and every one of you tonight to know that and rest assured that it is possible to acquire a job in the non-clinical side of the healthcare industry. But how you do it is what I'm going to talk about tonight. So I want to walk you through on three things: how to optimize your online presence, how to build your network, and why building a network is so important. And if you've been following me on YouTube or even on LinkedIn, you know that I have been screaming from the top of my lungs for people to network and build connections, because that has truly shown me in my own journey of job hunting and working as a former hiring manager that it has been the most vital tool to get you hired. And then, of course, how to be proactive in seeking out opportunities. And then at the end, I want to talk about how you can get a mentorship from me inside the For Health Scholars Trailblazers mentorship program. So that is the rundown for tonight. And now I do have to share this disclaimer that this webinar, we are not promising to find you or guarantee you employment. This presentation is just for information sharing only. So use the information to the best of your discretion. So I got to put that out there. Now I want to turn it over to each and every one of you. So I see a few people from my hometown, Brooklyn. I saw Queens. I saw Atlanta, Indiana. So I am so excited to have you here. And in the chat box, I want you to let me know which one are you. So number one, are you a current or a recent graduate looking to secure your first job in the healthcare industry? If that is you, drop one in the chat box. If you are number two, a professional with some non-clinical work experience under your belt, but you're having challenges advancing in your career, drop two in the chat box. And then the third component, if this is you, as a professional, you're coming from a different industry and you're really keen about exploring the opportunities and working on the business side of the healthcare field. And so really you're just not sure how to make that pivot. If that is you, drop three in the chat box, and I'm going to head over to the chat and see what people are sharing. So I see ones in the building. So Alexis is one, Jakari is one, 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷 is a mix of 1 and 2, so you have a little experience, but you're probably on the entry level side. Okay, Ebony says 2, Sarah says 1, Glorious, sorry, it says 3. Sarah says she's happy to be here. Sarah, I'm happy to have you. Hi, Roseanne. Oh, it's good to see you. And so Roseanne says she's a mixture of 1 and 2, so has a little experience under her belt, but looking for more opportunities to secure employment. All right, so that's a good mixture in the group. And I want to share with you that I have been all 3. And so, if you're wondering, is it only me? I'm here to tell you, no, I have been all 3. In my earlier days, I was number 1, just out of school, looking for employment, looking for ways to secure a position from all of this education that I acquired with my undergraduate degree, then getting a job working as an office manager, and now being in the field for a little bit and noticing that I wanted a little more and I wanted to advance my skills. And so I was looking for ways how to do that. How do I get promoted up or find another job opportunity that has really can allow me to grow as a professional? And then I've been in that space where I was in a different industry. And so prior to working and getting a job in healthcare management, I was working on the, I would say, customer service retail side. So I had worked in Starbucks for a little bit. Then I had worked at Mandy's. I don't know if anybody remembers Mandy's. I don't even think they're around, but it was like a women's clothing store. I worked in that. I also, if you're from New York, you're familiar with summer youth employment. So in my high school days, I worked summer youth probably every summer except for one. And I used to work in the ACS building downtown Brooklyn. And then another position I used to work for the New York Controller's Office as an administrative assistant there. So I definitely know what it means to be working in a different industry and now trying to pivot in a field that you are interested in and passionate about. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. And so how did I get here? And this is my first picture and my first day of work as an office manager for a private clinic. You couldn't tell me nothing. I came dressed to impress and really wanted to make a good impression on my boss and the teams of people that I would be hiring. So how did I get there? I would definitely tell you it's prayer, it's God's grace, but I also had a passion for leadership. And so if you asked me 15 years ago whether I would be interested or considering to pursue a career in healthcare administration, I would have yelled from the top of my lungs, no. My high school and even middle school, I was a classically trained dancer. So I did ballet, I did modern, I used to travel. My goal was to go and dance for Alvin Ailey and even graduating from high school. So for those of you who are familiar, especially my Brooklyn people, you may have heard of Brooklyn High School of the Arts. So I was the second graduating class from the school as it was fairly new. Now they're doing amazing things. And from graduation, I was like, okay, I am going to go and apply to college and really take this as a serious profession. But unbeknownst to many of you, but many of you probably can relate, I had a Nigerian dad. And for most foreign parents, including Nigerians, there are probably about 5 professions that they can deem acceptable. So for Nigerians, either you become a doctor or you become a lawyer or you become an engineer. And if those 3 are not suiting for you, you may do nursing or you can do accountant if those degrees, engineering, doctor, or nursing, or lawyer is not right for you. Can anybody relate to my story, just having a parent who maybe from a different country have their own perception, or they can even be from the US, but they have their own views and perceptions of what they think is ideal careers that will be successful? Alexis says, definitely. Otito says 100%. All right. So I'm not alone. Nadia, I think it's Nadia. She says, absolutely. I'm happy to see that you can all relate, having our parents, they knowing that they want the best for us, but their impression of what's best for us may not align with what we have been called to do. or that we want to do. All right. So Roseanne says, yes, African dad, Arab mom. So both doctors. Okay, Roseanne, you can understand that. Now, my mom, although she's late, she was an African American, and she really accepted and allowed me to explore the performing arts. And so that's how I even got into that. Being with my mom, she was my champion for that. But when she passed, now my dad is the only parent, and got it, what he says goes. And so it's great to see that many of you can relate to my story, because back then I just didn't think anybody went through what I went through. I had cousins that went to be doctors, doing engineers, so they were doing what my Nigerian culture deems as acceptable. And so, knowing that I had a Nigerian dad, he put a great halt to it. I got a full scholarship to go to Long Island University and do their performing arts program and specialize in classical art. And my dad was like, absolutely not. And so, since he was paying for college, I had to really accept his response, because I didn't have money at the time to pay for college. And so I, being myself, was like, okay, if I'm not going to go to do performing arts, I want to do the historically Black college or university experience. So I was looking for HBCU. So that was like my backup plan. So there was a rep that came to my school from Norfolk State University, and they were talking about Norfolk State and all of the programs that they had. And while I was going to high school, I also used to take some extracurricular college courses from a program called College Now. And in those courses, I was doing psychology. So I really was like, okay, if I'm not going to be a dancer, I'll do psychology. And when we got to Norfolk State, convinced my dad. And if you've been following me on YouTube and you watch my video on becoming a healthcare administrator, where I tell my story, I really talk about my story in depth there. I really didn't tell my dad that the school was in Virginia, although living in Brooklyn all my life, really didn't explore the southern states. If we were going on vacation, it was just to Nigeria and back. So if anybody can relate to that, just summer vacations being in your parents' home country. So that was what we used to do. So I didn't really explore Virginia, but I loved what the woman was saying as the rep, and that's how I chose NSU. And when we got there, and I told my dad I'm going to do psychology, he wasn't for it. So he's like, hey, no, that's not going to work. They're not going to make money, which I'm a big proponent in whatever you do, even if it's not healthcare administration, management, public health, health services, and you have a passion for it and you work diligently to invest in your craft, it will make you money. So, and once again, love our parents, but that advice, can be really discouraging. But I always have been a strong-willed individual, and leadership has always been at the forefront. And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to do what I want to do to a certain extent, and we can negotiate to make sure that I meet my dad's needs, and especially wants rather, and still be myself. And so that's how I end up at NSU. He told me how to do nursing. I got into the nursing program. About 2 years in, I really was like, this is not for me. And the book side was all great, because it's like, okay, you're reading in the text, and you're looking at textbooks. I was passing the exams and everything. But when it came to your clinicals, that's when it got real for me. And I was like, you know what? This is not for me. I cannot do this. I get really squeamish with blood drawing, throw up, fecal matter. It is not for me. And so I went to tell my roommate at the time, I hate this. I'm not for it. And she was like, why don't you do healthcare administration? Because my mom is Jamaican and I want to be a chef. But she told me that being a chef is not going to work out. And so I need to have a backup plan, and healthcare administration is what she chose. And so we went to the dean's office. And after speaking with the dean, I got enrolled. At the time, I still didn't know what healthcare administration was. I had no clue what it was, never heard about it. I didn't know what management was. All I knew is that it was an out from nursing. And after a semester into the program, it started to come together. I fell in love with the profession. I was like, oh, this is definitely for me, because it now cultivates that leadership side of me. I'm learning business, but I'm also in healthcare, which at the end of the day, in my thinking at the time, I'm like, that should satisfy my dad. That I'm still going to work in the hospital. I'm just not going to be a nurse. And ever since then, I really started my journey in healthcare administration. And now today, I'm about 16 years deep in the profession and have worked in the various roles. I have gotten all my degrees in healthcare administration. I have worked in inpatient facilities, outpatient facilities. I have presented and thrown healthcare focused conferences. And now in my current profession, I serve as a professor teaching the field to scholars just like yourself, as well as on the side. Sometimes I'll do some consultancy projects just to, keep me up to date on what's happening in the industry. So if you've been wondering, is this something that I can do? I'm here to tell you absolutely. I will also say that healthcare mentorship has always been a part of my journey. And so, as I didn't really think about it until recently when I started making videos, that I'm like, oh, yeah, you have been in the field of mentorship for a long time. And so my family had a business called Golden Home Care Services. And as any family business, you know that you have to work. So I used to have to do like the administrative work for my dad when he was running this home care business. So I would arrange the staffing list and making sure that the nursing assistants and CNAs would get the assignments for whatever clients that we had at the time. And then when I started working in the management side, I also had to pick up a side hustle because living in New York, even back then, was expensive. And I was Miss Independent. Now graduated, I was like, okay, I'm going to live on my own because I had the lifestyle of living by myself on campus. I'm going to do that. And so I had a side hustle. And that side hustle was under a company called Top Health Consulting. And so I would help physicians open private practices. And even with that, that was still cultivating my management and administration skill sets because I had to now tell physicians how to run the business side of the healthcare industry. Because for many clinical professionals, and let me know if anybody in the room is a clinical professional. I know in the registration form I asked the question, but just let me know if you are a clinical professional interested in transitioning into the business side. And so, from my understanding, even to date, many clinical professionals, their degree programs don't really explore in an exhaustive way the business side. All right, so DeGloria says she's a clinical professional. All right, all right. And so let me know if it's different or has changed. But I know from clinical um, degree programs, they're not talking about the business side, how to balance the books, finance. Okay, Stephanie says, I'm an RN. Okay, Stephanie, and welcome, Stephanie. I don't think I saw you earlier. All right. And so that kind of strategy to know at the end of the day, if anything, you don't take away from this conversation that the healthcare industry is a business. And like any other business, we have to do activities to keep the business going. Now, what makes us different from other businesses is that we're serving patients at their greatest point of need. So, patients who are sick, and they need immediate assistance. And we don't have time really to determine whether they're going to pay for this or not. Now, I have also worked in other healthcare systems outside of the US. And I would tell you that is one pro of the US healthcare system that we usually provide care first, then we worry about finances later. But I have lived in a country, so I lived in Nigeria for a year, and literally, if you didn't have the money up front, they were not servicing you. And so I remember very clearly of a woman who was in labor. And when you're in labor, if anybody's a parent, you're in labor, you don't have time to think about payment. You just want to get the baby out. And I remember her just running to, have her baby at the hospital, and they were like, "Madam, if you don't have the money, we're not going to see you." And can you just imagine the critical point of her life where she is about to give birth? She needs clinical care, and they're not willing to help her. So I always, when I think about people who are highlighting the cons of the US healthcare system, we do have our cons, we do have our gaps. Also look at the pros, and that's a pro. We deliver care first, we worry about finances later. But when we worry about the finances, we need individuals like ourselves who are skilled in the business side to come and help this clinic so it keeps running. And so that side hustle helped me with that. And then as I was going through the journey, got in my master's degree, realized that there's not much information out there about healthcare administration, management, health services, health sciences, even the human resource. I see somebody says human resource professional, even, oh, hi, patients, even the human resource side of healthcare. Nobody's really talking about that. So we're really relying on the internet. And when you pull up a BHA degree or career, it's usually a university sharing that information. So I, at that time, recognized that there was a gap and I wanted to mentor young professionals who were like undergraduate and really how to position themselves. So I created an organization called the Young Professionals Healthcare Network, and we were really popping in New York at that time. I used to do like social events, so we would do happy hours, but really just coming together through networking. So even from then, I was a big proponent for networking. So you can see here the logo that we had. We had a step and repeat, and because of that organization, I started to do conferences. And so here, what you see is a conference that I did for women's health, and we were doing mammogram care because there has been some gaps. I was doing a study at the time in Hempstead, New York. They had high cases of breast cancer, wanted to know why. And so we did a fair. I worked with their Department of Health, and it really just cultivated this passion that I have that, you know what, we need professionals like myself, like all of you are on the line, to spearhead and help push forward the healthcare industry. And it's not to demean the clinical side, because we know that as much as we need administrative professionals, we need clinical professionals, but in vice versa, it's the same. And so I wanted to cultivate that. And then I got into my doctoral program in 2017, had to put everything to a halt to a certain extent, because if anybody has done a doctorate degree program, it is not for the weak. And once you get to that dissertation writing stage, you really have to put a lot of things on the back burner to get done. And so once I was done, I now decided that, you know what, I want to pick up this mentorship initiative again, and I rebranded to for health scholars to be more inclusive, to make it be a more mature brand. Because when we say young professionals, we think that it's just one group of people. So YPHN had a glow up, and it grew up into for health scholars. And this is why many of you on the line know me. And so I see in the comments, Linda says she will enter a DHA program in August. Oh, absolutely. Congratulations to you. So is Patience. Congratulations to you. And I love to see more people, especially people of color, getting to this field, because representation matters in healthcare. And I'm just going to be honest with that. All right. So with everything that I shared with you, if I can do it, so can you. And if you are a person on this line who has been kind of questioning yourself or contemplating whether this is an industry right for you, the non-clinical side of healthcare, and it has its different umbrella terms, I'm here to tell you, if I can do it and you can align with the things that I have done, or even do things better than what I have done, it's definitely an industry for you. But the biggest question that I have received from so many people, even before I started for Health Scholars, was how? How do I get to those places? And let me know in the question in the comment section if that's a question that you had. Like, how? It sounds amazing, but how do I do it? So let me know in the comment section. Okay, Linda says thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Linda. All right. So if you've been wondering how, today I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can utilize this strategy that many people are not really talking about. But in this day and age of trying to get employment secured, it's all about networking. And so today I want to talk about 3 ways to get healthcare recruiters and hiring managers to call you. All right. So tip number 1, you want to optimize your online presence. And I'm going to talk about each tip in detail in just a second, but just to kind of set the scene for you. Tip number 1, you're going to optimize your online presence. Tip number 2, build your network. And then tip number 3, you're going to foster relations with recruiters, particularly professional relationships with recruiters and hiring managers. Now let's break it down. what are the purpose of healthcare recruiters, especially for any of you who have never worked with recruiters before? So healthcare recruiters are professionals who work to fill open positions in a variety of healthcare organizations. Okay. Now, recruiters, they work with you as job candidates to fill those positions for their clients. So it's very important to know that a recruiter does not work for you. Okay. Because when you're using a recruiter, they shouldn't be charging you for the service. The recruiters, they get their payments from the clients once they have filled the position. So if you work with a recruiter, they're being that third person or middleman to negotiate and sell your skills to their client. So keep that in mind. Now, hiring managers, they're a little different than recruiters. So hiring managers work for the designated healthcare organization, and oftentimes they're the management or leadership professionals responsible for hiring candidates for their available positions. Okay, so they work with recruiters sometimes. Sometimes the recruiters are working with the HR department. All right, so for most organizations, before you can get to the hiring manager, you have to go through HR. So hiring managers, they put out their job requisition. This is the job description. This is the kind of candidate that they need. Their human resource team will now say, okay, we'll try to find clients or candidates internally first. If we don't see anyone internally, we'll go externally. If we're unable to fill this position at a certain amount of time, then we now may utilize a recruitment service. So hiring managers, how they help you is that they support and make the decisions on whether the organization to hire you. All right. So if you have a good relationship with a hiring manager, believe me, they're going to be your marketing piece to really recruit you into positions that they have. But also, it's very important to note that hiring managers do not work for you, but they prefer to recruit candidates directly versus working with recruiters because recruiters are expensive. Okay. And we know that healthcare spending is very high. I think even to date, the gross domestic product here in the US is that 17% of it goes to healthcare. So that's quite high. So reducing costs is a big component in all areas of our healthcare system. Now, both hiring managers and recruiters, they're always looking for right candidates to fill their vacant job positions. That is what they have in common. So keep that in mind. They're looking for people like you who are qualified to fill these positions. And so it's important to note that both hiring managers and recruiters, they will tap into their network first to find candidates, right? Because you go with people who you know. How many of you would do business with someone that you know? I'm included. I'm probably going to do business with someone I'm familiar with first before I do business with a random stranger. The same concept applies in the process of finding candidates. They're going to tap into the network that they have and find qualified candidates. And should they be unsuccessful in finding someone from their network, now they turn to the digital workforce. Okay, so let's just take a moment to process that. The first line of action that they do is that they tap into their network. They're not going to Indeed.com or a simplyhired.com to find people first. So if that has been a strategy that you've only been using, I'm here to tell you it can be effective, but 9 out of 10 times these days, you're probably not seeing success. If you've just been applying on the job boards only, it's probably not helpful to you. And that's the reason why. Also, something that you should know is that employee turnover is extremely costly for healthcare organizations. So, healthcare organizations don't want to see you go. But one thing that has been amplified post pandemic and even during the pandemic is that many of the healthcare workforce was burnt out, especially those who were in direct patient care, whether you were clinically in the direct patient care side or administratively. Burnout was real. And so the pandemic gave people the confidence to say, hey, you know what? I value my mental health. I value my time. I no longer can take on this burden. So I'm going to walk away from it. And we had the great resignation, and it impacted healthcare in a way that they were not ready for. Even myself, in 2020, I used to work in the inpatient side. And when the pandemic came and it started to hit my hospital, so I was a hospital in Houston that I was working in, the morale was completely different. So a lot of my work was doing trainings with all types of staff in the hospital. And when I would do the annual performance trainings, you would hear people say that they're tired. I'm tired of this. And even for myself, when it got to a point where we started having refrigerated trucks outside of the hospital. And so this particular hospital, the parking lot was across the street. And so imagine each and every day as you walk out of the parking lot, you see refrigerated trucks. And for the most part, we know that refrigerated trucks are there to hold dead bodies. And now you have to wear these masks and you still have to come in contact with people who have this at the time. And the 2020 beginning of the year, we didn't even know what it was for real. We couldn't define it like how we define it now. So all of that impacted employee morale, and people started to walk out in droves. And we had that great resignation. But when people leave healthcare organizations, it does cost them. And so, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they will tell you employee turnover cost in healthcare averages about $3 million to $9 million annually. And this is from a nationwide statistic. So imagine, what can we do with $3 million? How many healthcare disparities can we really address if we had $3 million extra to spend? Now, we know there's some other issues with the healthcare systems, but just from this perspective. So, for hiring managers and recruiters, they're like, listen, we need to find cost productive ways to reduce employee turnover. So, what does this really mean for you as an active job seeker? Several things. First thing, there are positions, both clinical and administratively. There are job positions, and it's expected to even be more by 2029. Okay, because one thing I love about the healthcare industry compared to other industries like food and tourism is that the healthcare industry is always in demand. And as people are advancing through the healthcare workforce, new people are entering. Okay, so it's a revolving door. And recruiters and hiring managers are always looking for the right candidates. But because of this, the candidate competition is high, and most of the searches for candidates happen offline. So, once again, here's another point. If you've been just relying on, I'm gonna log in all day and I'm gonna go to the job boards to find jobs, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Now, of course, you didn't know. For many people, they didn't know. This is why I'm hosting this training tonight, because I really want you to know. Because we need people in healthcare. They're looking for people in healthcare. And if you position yourself in the right way, you will now see opportunities come to you. And so I'm going to talk about that tonight, because for the various job boards like Indeed.com or Simply Hire, ZipRecruiter, or even some of the specialty job boards for healthcare management administration, only 20% of the jobs that you see, there's only 20% of those jobs that are available that you're seeing. The other 80% are located on the hidden job market. Okay, so knowledge is power. Once you know this, it may make you use a different strategy for your job hunting process. Even if you're a clinical professional transitioning into the business side, or administrative professional trying to start or advance in your career, knowing that 80% of the jobs that are available are not even seen online. And how many of you ever paid attention to this? You may see a job, and when it's posted, but if you go to the organization's website, you'll notice that that job had been posted like for 3 months before it even got to the job board. So on the job board, it looks like it's a new posting, but actually it's not. And I'm here to tell you, within 3 months, they filled the position. Somebody in HR just didn't take the listing down. So knowing these things, I hope, even with the little bit that I shared, will help you start to re-strategize how you approach trying to find a job. Now, as a job seeker, you want to strategically and professionally engage in activities to get and stay on the radars of healthcare recruiters and hiring managers, because the healthcare industry is a people-to-people business. Okay? Here to say it again. The healthcare industry is a person-to-person business. And once you know that, the opportunities start to come in. And I'm not here to just say it's that easy, but I'm here to tell you what a strategy, it works. So this is exciting news, as Linda says. Absolutely. But how? Here's this question again. But how? Once again, you're telling me all of this, but how do I do this? Well, the one way that I have trained people to really get positions is a framework I call JOB, and it's easy to remember. And so when I say the JOB framework, the J stands for, and you can feel free to screenshot what you're seeing here or take notes if you're taking notes. The J in the JOB acronym stands for Join Industry Associations or attend relevant events to expand your network. The O, optimize your online presence, including your social media platforms like LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I don't know about anybody else, but I love LinkedIn. And if you know how to use it correctly, it can help be a great tool in your job hunting process. And then the B is to be proactive in seeking out job opportunities, including informational interviews and job fairs. And you're like, okay, what part of this framework allows healthcare recruiters and hiring managers to contact me? I'm going to continue to explain that. All right. So, tip number one, when I say optimize your online presence, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and get a website or, spend all this money on ads. No, 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 no. What I'm saying is to leverage the free tools that are out there to position yourself to be seen. Okay, because one thing you have to know about healthcare recruiters and hiring managers, they are busy professionals. So you need to get on their radar. But like anything else, when you're trying to find information, after a few times of searching it online, you'll find that the SEO browser will start to recommend things according to your previous search. And so that same concept applies when you're job hunting and you're using the job framework. You want to optimize your online presence. So LinkedIn is a free tool. You don't even have to purchase the paid version of LinkedIn to optimize it and use it as a tool to help you in your job hunting process. So Otito says, been putting off updating my LinkedIn for too long. Otito, after tonight, I hope you have a different or a change of heart about that. It's a free tool. Okay, so you use it, update it, and showcase your skills. And what I love about LinkedIn is that it allows you to do that. Because if you look at how a LinkedIn profile is set up and the kind of questions that they're asking you for, if you fill it right, it should start to help the search engine start to populate jobs that come your way, people who are in your industry, things that may help you learn about the industry. Because staying competent on what's happening with industry trends will take you far. Okay, I have been in several interviews and some of the questions they asked me, and I'm like, oh, thank God I am up on point with this information that I now are able to articulately and answer those questions. All right. And then on in optimizing your online presence, is it really about using keywords and phrases that's relevant to the roles that you're interested in? Okay, so the interest part has to still be there. And I know for many people who have been probably job hunting for a while, just the other day on LinkedIn, I saw a woman post her story that she had applied to 750 jobs online and she was rejected from all 750 jobs. Now that sounds like woo. And I'm pretty sure she had a great tracking system, which, by the way, that is something that I teach inside of the course that I have for healthcare graduates I hired about having a tracking system. As you can imagine, how she feels, she may feel exhausted. She may feel disbelieved. She may feel like it's time to give up, right? But I'm pretty sure there's some other things that comes into play on why she's getting those rejections. So using keywords and phrases relative to the roles that you're interested in. And just because you're a healthcare administration, management, public health professional doesn't mean that you have to work in the hospital. I have worked in various healthcare settings, and I'm here to tell you my favorite setting working in is in the community, like doing program management. Like for me, I did patient care, direct patient care management for a while. It wasn't for me. Well, when I got into program management outside of the clinic, outside of the hospital, but still working for a healthcare organization, it really changed my level of interest and passion for the field. All right. So knowing that, okay, I have to be abreast in the different job positions out there, which LinkedIn, once again, love this tool, helps you with that because you can, one thing that people are going to put on LinkedIn is what they do. And if they're using their profile, they're going to tell you where they work for the most part and the job titles that they use. So if you are an entry level professional or transitioning into the field, being you're like, okay, what jobs are out there? That is one way to do some research to learn about the different types of opportunities that are out there. All right. Okay. And just like a quick reminder, if you have questions that you would like me to answer during the Q&A section, just drop it in the chat box. My colleague Blondine, she's on there. She's going to be reaching out to you and grabbing those questions and letting me know where they have it. Okay. All right. So if you haven't connected on LinkedIn, let me be the first connection. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. My profile name is Dr. Orobosa Owie, and I don't even think I said my name at the beginning. I was so excited to get started, but I am Dr. Orobosa Owie, and you can find me on LinkedIn there. Let me be your first connection. I'm always sharing information there about how you can really advance in this field. And that leads into my next tip, which is tip number 2. Build your network. One of the ways that you are going to really excel in this field is by having a network that is profitable and that you can turn to in your greatest points of needs. A lot of the positions, the opportunities, and even work that I have done outside of healthcare, but has been in cultivating mentorship, speaking, has all come from building and knowing people, knowing my name, people knowing me and knowing that I'm credible and knowing my work ethic. And so when you're building your network, know that this is one of the most valuable tools that will help you go from $0 to your bank account into your salary, your desired salary, or more into your bank account. Now, how do you do this? Well, the first place you start is within your personal network. Now, I always like to share both sides of the spectrum when we're connecting with family members, right? Or people that we know personally, because not everybody can help you for your industry or want to help you in your industry, right? There are some people who are close to you who, which you may have to evaluate that relationship and may say, you know what, I'm not trying to help you. And at 36, age 36 of my life, I'm happy I learned that very early on in my career so that now I know how to move. And I know how to build a strategic network that can help me and vice versa, because this is two-way exchange, to position myself to advance in my career. And so you want to start off with your personal network. Who in your family, who do you know personally that works in the field of healthcare? And I really want you to just take a moment and think about, is there one person that you know in the field of healthcare? And just write their name down. You don't have to share it with us, but write it down. Then now you go into the professional networks. So if you are a student, tapping into your school network and looking at alumni associations. Although you are not an alumni just yet, if you've gone to a university that cultivates their alumni association, it's so powerful. So one of the universities that I think does this the best that I have seen is Howard University. Howard University's alumni committee, association, and alumni network is powerful. One of my colleagues, she just landed a full-time position as the director of their business, I think, entertainment center that they just built. She's known as the hip hop professor. And she, once again, stressed the fact that, yeah, she got that through her network. And all, of course, the network supported by her credibility and her work ethic. So tap, if as a student or as someone who recently graduated, tap into your school's alumni association. See what they have. Talk with classmates. Now, I know we're very careful about what we share. So definitely keep it, in this case, on a professional level, unless you feel comfortable enough and the two of you have that connection now that you can dig a little deeper. Like now I have some people, like you have your network and then you have people who are part of the sub network that we're really, really close to. And Patience, I love that you just did that. Yeah, she dropped her LinkedIn link profile in the chat. And this is another way to connect with people. There are people who are on the line who are actually working in the field, right? So this is not only just for people who are working, but they're here because they want to know how to advance. So definitely, if you feel comfortable, share your links and let's get the network building. Then, of course, attending industry conferences, seminars, and events, that is ideal. All right, potentially learn about job openings. And now I will tell you, if you do a quick Google search, here's a key term that you can use: healthcare hiring events near me. And Blondine, can you drop that in the chat box? Healthcare hiring events near me. And you'll see some upcoming events or things that they have done in the past where they had hiring managers come together for a day and recruit people. So healthcare hiring event. And then of course stay active on social media to a certain extent. So LinkedIn, I always recommend that. But Twitter is good for conversation. I know the dynamic changed a little bit with Twitter since they changed their management team, but in Facebook too, Facebook groups particularly. So there are so many Facebook groups. I'm on a few of them, especially in academia, because that's another industry where you got to hustle to get hired. Those Facebook groups, people are always sharing information. So I know that they have a healthcare administration, professionals network, a Facebook group. So you may want to check that out to connect with people in an authentic and wholesome way. Tip number 3, foster professional relationships with recruiters and hiring managers. So now you met these people, you went to these events, you gotten their business cards, their contact information. Don't let the card just collect dust, or don't connect with them on the internet. No, don't do that. Connect with these people. Connect is very, very important. So when you're connecting with recruiters, look at to see if that recruiter specializes in your industry, because recruiters, you have general recruiters. Think about it also like healthcare. You have your general practitioners. In this case, you have your general recruiters, and then you have recruiters who specialize in a particular area of healthcare. And so there are some recruitment agencies. I'll tell you one, 𝐕𝐝_Smith. They specialize in executive healthcare recruitment positions. So Blondine, drop that into the chat box as well, 𝐵𝐸Smith.com. They specialize in managerial recruitment for healthcare organizations. Once you start connecting with these recruiters, connecting with hiring managers, exchange information. Another way to foster professional relationships or relations is to conduct informational interviews. So reach out to professionals in your industry and request informational interviews. Hey, do you have just 30 minutes of your time? Can I have coffee, or can we meet on Zoom to discuss what's happening in the industry, etc.? And now here's the thing. Not everybody is going to be receptive to that. That is just human nature. Okay, not everybody is going to be willing to support you in your journey, but don't get stuck there. One of my key things, I also being a professional and an expert in this field, is that I like to encourage people from the core of my heart. There are going to be people who don't want to help you. I have experienced that. The difference is I didn't let that hold me down. I didn't let that stop me. And I'm here to tell you, once you start making it, these people come around. It has happened to me time and time again. So, oh yeah, you just got recognized. Oh yeah, let's connect. That is just human nature. Is it the best qualities of human beings? No, but just know that it comes with the process for those who are like really trying to get started in this game. It's nitty gritty, and not everybody is all about helping others. So with that, the truth is, after everything that I shared, is hiring managers and recruiters, they are busy professionals. And so you have to continuously put yourself out there to grab their attention. And you have to engage in activities that what we call the law of attraction. The more you put yourself out there, the more people start to recognize you. Hence how all of you who are on the line today, there's only maybe one person on this line that I know personally, and that's my operational manager, Blondine. But many of you, how you found me was because I put myself out there through my YouTube videos, through my LinkedIn. And that same concept applies when you're trying to get the attention of employers and recruiters, because when they see that you're sharing value and they see that, oh, this is a candidate for me, they're going to reach out to you. And how I know? I have gone through it and people I've worked with have gone through it. So let me just give you a case study. In 2018, I was in many of your position. I had just moved from New York, and when I moved from New York, I was under the auspice of that I was going to keep my full-time academic position at the university that I was working with. That was the arrangement. It was all good. As I got into Houston, I got a email from the HR department saying that, hey, they can no longer honor allowing me to work online full time. So this was before the pandemic and everything. They can no longer give me my full-time contract, that I would have to go to part-time. And as you can imagine, I just moved to a state that I'm not familiar with, but for personal reasons, wanted something new, moved to Houston, Texas, and now I have a part-time job with full-time job bills and commitments. I didn't have a network in Houston, and I was in need of a job ASAP. I had just signed the lease for my apartment. So I've been where you all have been. And so I start doing immediately? I went to what I know. I started applying to jobs online, but I didn't have any success. I was getting rejection after rejection. I was getting people not even responding. And you're like, I'm qualified. At this part, at 2018, I'm about 10 plus years in deep in the game. And New York was a field that, as if I wanted a new job, it was easy for me to get that. So getting to Houston, it was a true wake up call that I can no longer just rely on just knowing that I'm gonna apply to a job and get it. And this is pre-pandemic. And I didn't have any success. And so I started networking. I went back to what I know. I'm like, oh, let's go back to the basics. What do you used to do in New York that got people to call you? And at that point in 2018, I was already invited to the White House by President Obama. I was already endorsed and honored by New York State Senator Leroy Comrie. But in Texas, they didn't care. They didn't care. It was all about really who you know. And of course, that made me have to get my hustle on. And so I started meeting a few hiring managers, and I started to foster professional relationships with them. I started to connect with them, etc. And I saw a job that I wanted, and I contacted one of the contacts that I had who worked at the organization. But because I was fostering this email exchange, just hey, she used to do a lot of events at the hospital that she worked in. She was a nurse. I'm health administration, but just to show you that we can be interprofessional partnerships can lead into opportunities. She was like, hey, I'm not the hiring manager for that, but you know what? Here's a contact for the hiring manager of that position. Now, mind you, that same job I had applied to when I just got to Houston. Because I now was networking, it was like a full circle moment. I got the contact information, and the manager was able to reach out to me. And here's an exchange of the conversation. So this was me reaching out, and I just want to show you proof of it. This was me reaching out to them. She was responding. I was cultivating the relationship. The outreach started at April 11th. Okay. By April 30th, I was checking in with her. Okay. So just to let you know that you got to hustle, right? And I know they're like hustle culture is dead, but we're hustling strategically to get to the soft life. And so on the 30th, I wasn't hearing much. I was like, just following in, checking up in. She said she forwarded my information to talent acquisition. They have their own process, but it eventually led me to getting the job. And I started working June 11, 2018, just to put things into perspective for you on how this process works. But you may be wondering, does this strategy still work in 2023? And I'm here to tell you yes, even just up to this year, because I have been putting myself out there on LinkedIn, and recruiters have been gaining my attention. And now I was getting requests from recruiters because of my LinkedIn visibility. They didn't even go to YouTube. That's where we have the biggest following. They didn't even go to YouTube, just LinkedIn. And they were reaching out to me. Here's another recruiter from the same recruitment agency I shared earlier, was like, hey, I think this is a position that's great for you. Why? Because I put myself out there. But as I did it for myself, I also helped others. And so here are three individuals of recent times that I helped. And so we have Vanessa. She's a public health specialist. She graduated with her MPH. She completed an internship with me. And in her internship with me, she also let me know that she was looking for employment. And I gave her some strategies and tools to implement, and she was able to successfully secure a role at the Department of Health in Long Island, New York. Then we have Sonala. She's a community health social worker. She was looking for different universities and she just didn't know how. With the strategies that I provided and the mentorship I provided, she was able to get into all of the universities that she applied for, including Columbia, including NYU. And then we have Josephine. She's a techpreneur, but interested in healthcare tech side of things. Through mentorship and working with her, she was now able to secure international speaking engagements in Dubai and South Africa. And so, under my auspice, under the cultivation, I've been able to successfully help myself be employed and also help others. And now I want to help you. And so, I want to introduce you to the For Health Scholars Trailblazers mentorship program. And I know you've been seeing my advertisements for the marketing that I did. And this mentorship program is all digital, it's 4 weeks, and we're going to work as a group because it's group coaching to help you position yourself to get hired. And I have a proven framework that I have been using time and time again. I just shared one part of it today to really help healthcare professionals like yourself secure your first, next, or even dream non-clinical health job. So if you're looking for clinical health jobs, I don't specialize in that. I only specialize in what I know. So I want to be able to help you. But if you're looking to go on the non-clinical side, then absolutely more than willing to help you. And so this mentorship, it starts May 10th. But let's talk about what's in the internship. So it's 4 weeks, all digital. You're going to get access to a career development and job search curriculum. So we have one of the students who is on tonight, Aaliyah. She is on. She is a student in this For Healthcare Graduate to Hire course, and she's been working on that. Also, you're going to get 4 weeks of digital group coaching with me. So each Wednesday from 7 to probably 8:30 p.m. We're going to work hands on to help you position yourself to get hired. And then as well, you're going to get access to the For Health Scholars private LinkedIn support group and community. And so what you will learn in this accelerator is that first, how to gain career clarity, how to create a personalized job hunting strategy, how to prepare your essential job hunting documents, how to search and apply and navigate that hidden healthcare job market. Of course, we're going to talk about interview preparation and how to work with healthcare recruiters. So we do have a healthcare recruiter directory that you will gain access to should you become a part of this mentorship cohort. And so here is some insight of the first half of the accelerator. So you're going to get access to the For Healthcare Graduate to Hire course. And so module 1, we go extensively in those videos that I've created talking about the various non-clinical jobs, because there are so many non-clinical jobs. Remember, healthcare administration, healthcare management, public health, those are umbrella terms. There's so many roles underneath that. So I go over the majority of those roles. In module 2, we talk about creating your personalized job search strategy. In module 3, we're prepping your essential job search documents and what that looks like, because if you are applying digitally, there's something called the ATS system, the applicant tracking system, that is no joke. And so you need to know how to pass through the applicant tracking system so that your resume can get on the desk of hiring managers and recruiters. Well, recruiters don't really use the ATS too much, but even them, if they do, how to create your resume in a way where it passes through the ATS. Then module 4, we're going to talk about how to search for healthcare jobs on and offline, interviewing strategies, as well as how to find and work with recruiters, because this day and age, if you have that person that is being your marketing tool, it really help you. And so some of the bonuses, in addition to the coaching, in addition to access to the course, is that you're going to get community support. So we have our private LinkedIn group where you can be sharing information and their jobs. I'll be posting some available positions that are hiring at that time. So we're going to be sharing a lot of valuable stuff in the group. But also, I'm giving you email scripts to contact recruiters and as well as hiring managers. So if you do sign up today to be a part of the mentorship program, you're going to also get access to 3 edible templates to customize and send to recruiters instantly. So just to recap what you're getting in this accelerator, first, you're going to get access to the For Healthcare Graduate to Hire course instantly. So as soon as you sign up, you get instant access to the course. Then you're also going to get 4 weeks of group coaching with me, Dr. Orobosa, and that coaching will start on the Wednesday of May 10th from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It may go a little over, just depending on how much conversation we go through. In each of those coaching sessions, I'll start off with a quick like masterclass, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, teaching you something about the path that we're going in with the curriculum that you'll be watching through the course and how you can use it to apply it to your own job hunting process. So, why is career mentorship important? After everything that I shared with you, career mentorship is like having a compass that guides you towards success. Instead of making the unnecessary mistakes, career mentorship can really position you with practical knowledge and support to help you navigate your journey a little quicker than doing it without someone. And so today, I'm here to offer this program to each and every one of you, opening up on May 10th, but having access to that course at immediately if you sign up. So for this accelerator, it is $197. The original price is $397. All right. So if you sign up this round, you will get it at a discounted course. Now, for those of you who are like, okay, do I offer payment options? So there's 2. You can pay in full, or you can do the 4 payment plans. So it will be $55 per week. All right. If you decide to move forward. Now, if you pay in full, one of the bonuses is that you'll get to have a one-on-one personal 1-hour consultation with me. And in that consultation, you can use it as sees fit. If you want me to review your resume, if you want me to give you detailed advice, that's it. You can use that complimentary consultation for that. If you do just use the payment plan, then you would just pay $55 per week. You still get access to the course. You still get access to the digital coaching with me. You still get access to the bonuses that I share. The only thing that you wouldn't receive is that one-on-one consultation. That's right. So if you're wondering if this program is for you, then I would tell you, if you are a person who's looking for personalized guidance to help you establish your non-clinical career, then I encourage you to join us at the For Health Scholars Trailblazers Mentorship Accelerator. If you are a person looking to expand in your professional development and support your career goals, then this is the mentorship program for you. If you need career mentoring and accommodating, so former students, so we have a few students in the For Healthcare Graduate course, they already get access to that. So you're going to start the mentorship with them in our first weekly call. So they'll be joining us as well as mentorship that is affordable. So I've looked at other people who offer mentorship, and I understand people's pockets right now. And so I felt like this is a reasonable price to get started, to really position yourself for career success. The best news that I can hear for anybody who follows my videos, follows me and my brand, is that they got hired, they got into the school of their choice, they feel like this is a rewarding career. Right? So you can register for the mentorship program here at this link. And also, Blondine, you know what? I'm going to drop it in the chat box for everyone as well to have access to. And you can sign up there, or you can scan the picture of the QR code that's listed here to sign up as well. But I definitely hope that to see you in the program. I really am passionate about encouraging professionals to move forward in a non-clinical career. I know for many people, they mean like, is it possible? I'm here to tell you it is possible. It is possible. The game looks a little different now, but it is possible. and with mentorship, it can really excel your process. So here are some frequently asked questions that I think that people would have asked. And give me a second, my computer is, all right, make it big. So one question, who can participate in the For Health Scholars Trailblazers mentorship program? It is any professional who is current or aspiring, interested in starting, advancing, or transitioning into a non-clinical healthcare career, and they're seeking personalized career coaching. This course will be right for you. How does the mentorship program work? So once participants enroll in the program, you'll receive immediate access to the For Healthcare Graduate to Hire course. Additionally, you will get 4 weeks of group coaching, and we're going to start those group coaching sessions on every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. I do post a replay, so if you can't make it on a Wednesday, don't worry, you'll get access to the replays for that. And as I stated, we're going to start on May 10th, and the last cohort session will be May 31st. And we host these sessions through Zoom. Now, what if you're unhappy with the program? I'm a transparent person, and I'm going to tell you, I never want you to be unhappy, but due to the digital nature of the program, and once you sign up, you're going to get access to it, there are no refunds allowed. So when you're making this decision, I always like to be transparent to make sure that you're making an informed decision. However, if you have questions, you can always reach out to us here at hello@thehealthscholars.com, right? So once again, here is the registration link. I hope many of you sign up. And now I'm going to open the floor up for some Q&A. All right. So let me go in the chat box. All right. And let me know if this has been helpful for you. All right. Okay. So Blondine, help me out a little bit here. Who, I think you said, oh, you pinned it at the top. Okay. Give me a second to get this up.
There are 2 questions.
Okay.
One is from Sarah. Let me try to find it. So that question was looking for.
I see it here.
Okay, got it. Oh, perfect.
I see it here. Okay, Sarah says, when you say use your keywords and phrases to make it easier for recruiters and hiring managers to find you, where would you put them if that makes sense? It does, Sarah, and that's a really great question. So if you looked at LinkedIn, it's going to tell you to write a bio about yourself. You use keywords there. Also, there's a headline section. So if you go to my page, in that headline section, I have that I'm an author, speaker, professor, and mentor. I help so-and-so. I help healthcare administration, management, and public health students. I think I just say health professionals now. Those are all keywords. So when people are finding me or looking for healthcare administration, because my profile has healthcare administration, it helps you gain awareness of me. Also hashtags. Now, LinkedIn doesn't use a lot of hashtags like Instagram or Facebook, but the hashtags are also helpful because when you're posting under those hashtags and people are looking for healthcare administration, healthcare management, health services, career advice, your profile starts to come up, especially if you are active. So just put it in your profile. Also, if you post content, if you share information, go ahead and put that content as well. So usually I would use 3 hashtags, and in that hashtag is always a keyword that's from the content that I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about healthcare jobs, in the hashtag, I put healthcare jobs, healthcare administration. So those are all keywords, but we go in depth with that in the mentorship program and when you get access to the For Healthcare Graduate to Hire course. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Otito says, do you have any tips for how to maintain the connections once you have networked or been networking? That's a great question, Otito. And I'm happy you really asked that question. To answer your question is just to continue to update with them. So if they're on LinkedIn and you find that they're sharing information, simply just like their post, put a comment, all right? Or if you met with them offline, email them. So today is Administrative Professionals Day, and maybe you can create a conversation around that. Hey, just met you. Thank you for meeting you. Would love to stay connected. Would love to have a conversation with you, or asking this, you have any tips that you can share. So it's really about cultivating authentic conversation. Sometimes you don't always have to go into the immediate ask, but other people prefer it. So when people are like, do I ask instantly? I say go with what your heart feels. The worst that you can get is a no. Okay. Many people appreciate people being direct forward and asking them exactly what they want with their time. So it's really whatever your heart feels. If you feel like I'm just going to ask directly, that's great. Just make sure it's professional. Make sure it has a great tone to it. It's not reading disrespectful, and give people time to respond. You know, I forgot. There was somebody who reached out to me and they were like, "Oh, I haven't heard from you." But I'm like, first, it's 24 hours. Mind you, there's a whole lot of people who are reaching out to me at this time. So I do make it my best to reach out to people, but you just got to give people time according to their schedule. And if you haven't heard from them in like a week, hey, just following up. It's always great to great responses to use. Linda says, "True, doctor. I may have to leave my current job. I'm overutilized and under acknowledged." Linda, it's yeah, and I definitely understand that. And if you make that decision, I really wish you the best. And if you join us in the mentorship program, we'll show you how to do that decision so that it's with ease and it helps you land into a better opportunity. Okay. All right. I see many of you have shared in your LinkedIn profile. So this is good. Blondine, let me know if I'm missing any questions. I'm scrolling through it as well. Um,
Yes, there's a question from, I believe, Yvette. Hopefully, I'm saying your name correctly. If I'm not, I'm so sorry to butcher it.
okay. Can you read out the question? Because I can't see it. Mm.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, it says, Dr. O, thank you so much for sharing this information. Does involvement with ACHE help?
Yes. So that's a professional association, the American College for Healthcare Executives. I was a member for a few years, and they always have conferences. They have a job board that you get access to. So that's a specialty job board when you become a member. The conferences are amazing because you get to meet people, and their conferences yield really high level individuals. I would say it's actually a mixture of a crowd, and you're going to get high level individuals, you're going to get the speakers, but you're also getting organizations that are coming because they too are scouting and looking for people to work for them, right? So it's a two-way exchange. So yes, the ACHE is a great professional association. The American Public Health Association is another good one. Each profession has their association. So I know healthcare tech has one, clinical research, they have one, research in general, they have one, the American Medical Association for doctors. So there are different associations out there according to your background and interest. So yes, that's a good one. Okay, Blondine. Okay, I see you says questions from the chat. Do you have any tips for how? Okay, answered that. I answered that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you've gotten all questions as far as I'm seeing. If I'm missing any, please feel free to repost your question. So far, I'm just seeing comments, and there were just 3 questions as I'm seeing.
Okay. I see a question for
Oh, just
Ebony.
a new one just now.
And how long does access to the for Health Scholars Mentorship go last? So you get access to the community for a lifetime. You get access to the course for the lifetime. The coaching with me is just 4 weeks long, but you will forever be in the community. You will forever have access to the course if you want to reference it. I tell people give yourself 90 days to really position yourself for success. But I felt like this is great information. So that's a good question, Ebony. So once again, to repeat it for others, you get access for the course for a lifetime, and you get access to the group for a lifetime. It's the coaching that will start, and then I'm going to do another round. I usually do a month in between break, and we do another round. So if you're a person like I love the coaching, want to be a part of it again, you'll be able to sign up for that coaching at a discounted price compared to someone who has never done it. So just to give you insight on that. All right. Okay. Any other questions? I'm sorry, we're a little just over, but once again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. I hope that even in the training, if you don't sign up for mentorship, but from the training alone, it has allowed you to really take some tips to kickstart or reignite your job hunting process, and continue to watch YouTube, LinkedIn. I will be continuously sharing there as well. Okay. I don't see anything else. Any other questions? Okay, how long do we have to sign up At the price, so the price is till May 10th. That's when the first cohort starts, and then I just close off the link. So that's a really good question. The Yeah, the price is. I'm not changing it. I know some people will do. Sign up today at this price, and then if you don't, it's another price. No, the price is just the price. So you have up to May 10th to sign up. How often does the cohort restart? So I'm aiming for 3 times a year. So each quarter we'll do a new cohort. So this is the inaugural cohort in this format. We do have students in the for healthcare graduate to hire course. So we have a student who's on. So they have already been getting this information, and they're just waiting for me to do the coaching with them as well. Yeah. So when they had their deal, it came with 3 sessions of coaching at the time. Hi, Yvette. Yvette, I think this is a former student of mine. Oh, yes, yes, Yvette, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I am a former student of yours.
Hi, Yvette. How are you? Um, she says, would you recommend being in this course and currently in online graduate class? That's a good question, Yvette, and I really would say it's up to you. If you, because graduate work is extensive, and I really want you to perform academically first. And so if you feel like you can do both, then it shouldn't be a problem, because you get access to the actual course at your own time. You can do it at 3 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the AM, 11 o'clock in the day. And if you are unable to attend the weekly coaching session that we have, I will always post a replay in the course. So once you sign up, you're going to get an account with Teachable, and then we start populating the replay information there. But you'll get instant access to the for healthcare graduate to hire course, and that course walks you through everything we talked about, and then we'll be emailing you up to the time when it starts to for the first cohort. So you'll always get some updates from me there. So really, Yvette, it's up to you. Ebony says, I'm prior to grad school now. The program should still benefit me, right? Yes. If you post graduation or even during school, I was a person who worked in my master's program. I had 2 jobs and I was doing a master's program. So, yes, it can. Will you be offering another cohort in the fall? So, yes, I'm doing this 3 times a year. So, this is the spring cohort. I'll do one in the summertime, and then I will do one in fall. Yes. Anybody else? Questions? All right. So I guess this will be the final call for questions. Once again, thank you so much for joining me in tonight's conversation and training. But if you don't have any questions, we can end it here. Thank you, Sarah. Have an amazing evening, and I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you in YouTube, in the mentorship program for those of you who sign up, and of course on LinkedIn.